Hey everyone, it's Mike. I've got my brush hog down here today, and it's a clutch slip PTO shaft over here. And so what that is, it's either, you can either get brush hogs with a clutch or a shear pin. So if you hit something hard, the shear pin, which is like a softer bolt, would just snap instead of breaking the drive shaft here, the PTO shaft. This has a clutch on it, and every year after sitting over the winter, you're supposed to loosen up the clutch a little bit, engage it a few times, and make sure that it slips, because sometimes it will rust together and it won't slip when you hit something hard, and then it'll break your PTO shaft. So that's what I'm doing now. And if we look here, hold on. Oh boy. This safety guard, which covers up a joint in there, and the clutch. Here's the part of the clutch right here. They have these covers so you can get to the bolts in the clutch. The problem is the shield is too far back, and in order for me to bring it up an inch and a half or so, I'd have to take out 4 bolts and put a piece of pipe and get longer bolts and all the rest of that stuff, and then I could see this would be moved up over here. So I wasn't going to do that. What I did instead was I cut a little slot in right over here. And not very neat, but let's see if we can see it here. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw, there we go. I'm gonna draw, I got a paint pen. It looks like a marker, but there's paint in it. It's a white one. And I'm gonna draw a line across this metal plate, and then there is the clutch, right across the whole thing. And then after it dries for a few minutes, I'm going to loosen the bolts. You can see one of them here, and there's 6 of them on this. And just like I want to start off with just a half a turn each, loosening it. And then I'm going to, I'll probably do a full turn each. And then I'm going to engage the PTO and then shut it off and see if the clutch slipped. The white mark going across should no longer line up. And if it does slip, great. That means I broke it free. And then I'll tighten it back up. Instead of a full turn, I'll probably make it just maybe a half to 3/4 of a turn, each bolt tight. This way it slips a little bit easier when I hit something hard. When I first bought this brush hog, it never slipped at all. They had these cranked down from I guess the factory, which is ridiculous because the clutch never slipped when you hit something hard. And luckily it did not break my PTO. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do, and I'll turn this back on in a second after I got that white mark drawn. There we go. So, I don't know if you could tell, but this is the paint pen I was telling you about, white paint marker. I picked it up at a tractor dealership. I think Home Depot or Lowe's sells them as well. And it just has a little tip on it like a regular marker. Anyway, so you can see where I put the white mark here, 2 metal plates. And in the middle is the clutch piece. And you can see I put a little white mark on there. And now I'll start it up, engage the PT. Oh no, I have to loosen up these bolts first. I forgot to do that. So I got to loosen up the bolts, loosen up the clutch, and then engage the PTO. So let me loosen up the bolts. Okay, I got those bolts loose, about a full turn each. Let's start it up. kick it on and off a few times. Watch my feet, don't go underneath the deck here while it's spinning. Alright, it is PTO stop moving, so that's it. And the shaft has stopped here. Okay, let's go see if the... Whoa. Let's see if we can find that white mark now. Put this down for a minute while I look for it. Comes. Okay, so I got to spin a little more here in the window. So let's see if we can get that a little closer. So there's the white mark on the metal, white mark in the metal, and the white mark I had on the clutch is not there. So that means the clutch broke free and it was able to spin fine. So now what I'll do is, if I left it like this, if I was cutting tall grass, the clutch would just slip and it wouldn't cut the grass, you know, heavy grass or some light brush. So now what I have to do is tighten up each one of these bolts. I loosened them, each one close to equally, about a full turn each. I think I'm only going to do it maybe, I'm going to try it with only tightening up maybe to 3/4 of a turn on each. I'd rather have a little bit too loose than too tight. If it's too tight, there's a possibility it might break the PTO shaft if I hit something hard. So that's what I'm going to do now, is tighten up these bolts 3/4 of a turn, and then I'll kick it on and off a few times. And actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use a knife and just wipe off that white mark I had on a clutch. I'm going to spin this around until I find it and just you know, scrape it off. This way I won't get confused if it ever when I do this again next year. You know, I'd just rather have put a new clean mark on there. So that's what I'm going to do now. So that's about the height of the grass there. Now Well, it seems to be working pretty good. I think it's adjusted pretty good. The clutch is tight enough so it doesn't just spin. Cutting grass and light brush is all I really wanted to do. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the video.